You are watching a teaching excerpt from Christian Tabernacle Radio. In this clip, the message teaches from Nehemiah that when God gives you an assignment, distractions and critics cannot be allowed to pull you down from the work. This is not the full live stream. It is a focused excerpt prepared to help you catch the heart of the message.
Kind of been noticing in myself, and I think a lot of people kind of struggle with this as well. And essentially, it's just the title is I cannot come down. I cannot come down, and we're coming from Nehemiah 6, verse 3, and I think that's a familiar passage for a lot of people. But I think the idea is something that I've been working on as well. And it's something that I think pretty much everybody deals with. And that's essentially when people try to talk you out of what God has told you to do, right? So, you have some people out there that might use kind words. They might use, harsh words, but, well, I'm just going to tell you like it is. They might come to you, sounding sounding holy when they do it. But it doesn't really matter what it sounds like. It matters what's behind it, what the intent is. You have a lot of people in church. It doesn't really matter where they are. They'll try to tell you something thinking that they're helping you out, but that's not really something that God told you to do. That's not really something that God told you to say. That's not really a place that God told you to go, right? And it sounds right, but, you have to make sure that you're following exactly what God has told you to do, right? And I have written down here the big idea, which is what God told you to do is too important to quit just because of what other people say. All right? So I'm going to walk through Nehemiah chapter 6 to see how this works. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can stop me at any point in time because this is Bible study. So please do, right? But like I said, this is something that I've been seeing a lot of people struggle with for years. Is they'll go to start doing something, and then when they start to do it, somebody will come up and say, "Oh, I don't know about that," and because my family says not to do it, or because my boss said not to do it, or somebody they might not even say anything to you. They might criticize you behind your back, and you kind of hear it around the corner. And you say, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't do it. God is telling us, whatever vision I've given you, whatever talent I've given you, you need to make sure to complete that as I've told you to do it. Right? So that's kind of what I want to talk about tonight. Right? And so we're in a part of the story in Nehemiah where Nehemiah is building a wall around Jerusalem. Right? And so by chapter 6, the wall is already up. And he really only has, at that point in time, the gates to do. And the enemy has already tried to scare him. He's already tried to attack him. And really none of it has worked. And so now the enemy has stopped using swords. And the enemy, I think, at that point in time was Sanballat and Tobias. They stopped using swords, their weaponry and stuff, and they start trying to use their words. They start trying to talk him out of things. We're going to do this. And of course, they were making threats. We're going to go back and tell the king. Well, the king already knows what I'm doing. Well, this ain't going to work because, and all this other negative nonsense and all this other stuff, right? Trying to really use their words to distract, to basically tear down what he's trying to do, right? And really that's how it works with a lot of us is you have to think about it as a train or like a train where, that train is not going to, there's very few things that's going to stop a train from moving, right? Unless the conductor says stop. And even at that point in time, if the train is going too fast, it ain't going to stop. Right? But somebody has to give the conductor the command through what? Their words. Hey, stop. Don't do this. There's something on the tracks. Right? Even through warning. Somebody said, hey, let's create a warning. Let's create a sound. And when people do that choo choo, it's funny as a kid, but that's actually a warning sound. Hey, I'm coming, right? I'm on, get out the way. Because if I get up on you, I cannot stop. And this is how God wants us to be in the world. I'm coming to your city. I'm coming to your town. And there's not really a whole lot that's going to stop me unless the conductor tells me to stop. Unless the conductor, who is Jesus Christ, tells me, go to another town, go another direction. But other than that, I'm not really listening to anybody else. I'm not really thinking about what everybody else is going. And a lot of times on trains, they have one track and they're going in a certain direction. That's for a reason. And if you want to change the track, that's got to come from somebody else. Somebody else has to say, okay, no, you got to go this way. And a lot of times they have to physically do it. I don't know if they have to do that, but back in the day, you have to push a lever and the train goes in a different track on a different way, or pull a lever and it goes in a different way. That's how God has us. He's got us going on a track. But a lot of times, because we don't listen to God and we start listening to what somebody else wants us to do, we start listening to opinions of everybody else, then we derail ourselves and we get off track. Does that make sense? Yes. We stop what we're doing. And this is something that's frustrated me in my life, is I will look at somebody and I'll be going my way, and then somebody says, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And it used to be when I was younger, I didn't know, so I'd just go there. But as you get older and you get more experienced, you say, well, I already know what that leads to. I already know what's going on there, so I'm not going to go there, right? But the older I get, I say, well, based on experience, this is the way that I'm going to go. And you're not going to be right all the time, but this is the way that I'm going to go. And you just go there, but, well, maybe you should do this. And then you're saying to yourself the whole time, which is what people do, I know this is going to be a bad idea. I know this is going to be a bad idea. What do people say when they go on a night out? Oh, I don't know if I should really go. Last time it got pretty wild. That was your warning. When they pull that chew, that was your warning, right? Something bad is coming down the tracks, but you didn't listen and you go out anyway, or you do something anyway. And all of a sudden you get yourself into trouble, and now you're back. Oh man, I shouldn't have done that. I'm not going to do it again. But most people, they keep on doing the same thing over and over again and getting themselves into trouble. You're not supposed to be doing that. What I've learned is, hey, you learn from your mistakes, right? Now, once again, like I said, you're not going to be perfect, but you learn from your mistakes. You learn what you're doing, and you try to get better, a little bit better next time. And that's what God is calling us to do, to get a little bit better the next time. When we start going in one direction, if we know one direction is going to derail us and lead us down a path that we don't need to be in, immediately stop doing that. Don't even look over there. Just keep on going straight. That's what the Bible is asking us to do. Don't let words, commands. The Bible even says, if there be another angel, anything else that's preaching another gospel, let it be accursed. Do not listen to what well, my daddy said, well, my mama said. If any, you have to understand, the angels are already in heaven. The angels are already in heaven. We're humans. We're made a little bit lower than the angels, right? So if me or another angel preaches anything different, says anything different from what the Bible says.
This excerpt was taken from Christian Tabernacle Radio's live stream. If you can't hear God's voice, this is for you. Released May 28th, 2026. The original full message is linked in the description. If this word helped you, watch the full live stream, like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe to Christian Tabernacle Radio.